will jump in. We've got good stuff for today. Hopefully reassuring stuff. Hopefully divine right timing and order stuff and flow. We'll throw some flow in there because that's always good. There we go. All right. Good morning. Good morning. We'll see if anybody shows up today because, as usual for a Friday, it is EARLY because I will be headed out the door to go see my adorable granddaughter Scarlett, and it's an hour and a half to get there. So that gets Mama and Daddy out the door in time to go to work. So let me see. Where do I want to start? Synchronicities. I think synchronicities is where I want to start. Good morning, Gwen. Good morning, Nancy. Welcome, welcome. You guys are here at a good time. This is good stuff. So I don't know where you are, but here the air quality is abysmal. We're in the 258 range on the scale, but the poor little town that I lived in Michigan is at 500. 500. Do not be out in that. That is just not good for your little lungs. So I already explained to my daughter that we will not be taking the baby out for a stroll today because Grandma's not wrecking those little virgin lungs. Good morning, Shelley. Glad you are here. What do we got? Flowers and butterflies. Fabulous. Perfect. That is very useful today. So we have Tosha Silver's Outrageous Openness. If you've never read it, get yourself a copy. It is good stuff. Letting the Divine Take the Lead. Oh, and I wanted to tell you, good morning, Joniel. Welcome. Glad you're here. Wanted to tell you my books came yesterday. My sister had said that a box would be coming with Dad's CPAP supplies. And so I saw the UPS guy drop it off. And I'm like, meh, UPS supplies, meh. Or I mean, CPAP supplies. Too many acronyms. Anywho, so I let it sit there for a while. I was doing whatever I was doing. I went out and got it. It wasn't. It was my books. It was the Holy Moments books, 6 in English and 6 in Spanish. And now I get to have the fun of driving around and looking for little free libraries and putting copies in the little free libraries. So if you haven't thought of that idea, do that one. I think that's an awesome way to spread this word, is put them in the little free libraries. Some of those little free libraries are looking a little sorry. They need a boost. They need some holy moments. So yeah. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you go back, I don't know how far back, but we did a round of it was Matthew Kelly, Holy Moments. So check that one out. Today's, again, is from Outrageous Openness by Tosha Silver, Letting the Divine Take the Lead. And I have my little God jar sitting here because I'm going to make a point with that shortly. So let's start with some tapping and some breath. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. My color is looking pasty today. I think my camera's weird. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Good morning, Carolyn. Glad you are here. And there's Miss Piggy and Kermit all ready to tap with us. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more. Breathe in. Hold at the top. And let it go. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Check in with yourself. How are you feeling today? Feeling like you need a little boost? All right. There's been some distressing things going on, and we need a little boost. So yesterday I was on a board of directors meeting for a group that a not-for-profit that I'm on the board, and the person who was leading that particular meeting started with lamentation. So we each had a turn to lament, and he had picked out 2 specific things to lament, including the recent decision to allow Enbridge to build their stupid frickin' tunnel under the Straits of Mackinac. Another step closer to that happening. First thought that popped into my head, which when I read it, I was like, whatever. But the first thought that popped into my head is, it ain't over. It ain't over. If you think the indigenous people and those who support them in their efforts to keep the Great Lakes as clean as possible aren't going to be standing on the shores when the diggers show up, you're wrong. You're wrong. There are people who know very well how to protect Mother Earth, and there are many of us who will be of support. They'll take the lead probably, and we'll be of support. We'll be of support. We're not messing up the Great Lakes. Sorry. Take your diggers and go home. So I'm sure we'll see how that unfolds as we go. So anyway, lamentation. But then from there, where do we go? Where do we go? That's not it. We don't just wring our hands and say, okay, well, yeah, no, not an option, not an option. And some serendipitous things that were really interesting. So I usually grab something to mark the page, and had a meeting yesterday with someone. Hang on. I like to think that they're misguided, Shelley. I like to think that they're misguided. And we were talking about sending the love to those who need it the most, sending the love to those who aren't showing it to anybody else, including themselves. And that can be really hard to do. But we are supposed to be rising up here. We are supposed to be transcending our 3D state and moving up the chain. A piece of that is going to be learning how to love those who aren't very lovable. Okay, so let's practice. We have some opportunities to practice here. So the chapter that we're going to read is called The Mortgage Meltdown. Had a meeting yesterday. Something has transpired about which I'm very excited, but also pretty freaked out. It's opportunity. I don't know. How did it feel to you? How did it feel to you? Underneath there's some kind of expectation. And when we have expectations, it allows people to fall short, right? And I think we're judgmental people. Does that mean we want to foster that judgment? No, I think we want to, there we go. I think we want to, as best we can. Well, I was raised Catholic, so judgment is a big rubber stamp right on your forehead. That was judgmental. But that was my experience. That's not everybody's experience. That was my experience. So how we move forward, how we view our own judgments and others' judgments makes a difference. Makes a difference. Those of us who have been taught to crumble in the face of others' judgments, to move into shame and feel terrible about ourselves and, all the things, time to practice, time to speak up, time to see someone else's disappointment and not take it on as ours. If there's something we need to say, we need to say it. No more going along to get along. No more being nice, especially Midwest nice. No, if you have something to say it as appropriately and respectfully as you can. But let's call out the pink elephant in the living room. All right. All right. So, was having a meeting with someone, and we were talking about the financial situation and one of his concerns about the financial situation, and it lodged itself in my being a little bit, maybe a lot of bit. And I started questioning, do I need to protect myself more in terms of what I'm doing financially? And I will allow that to unfold. I will see what happens with that in terms of, was he being an earth angel with guidance coming forth that I need to heed? Or is that another opportunity to look fear in the eye and say, not today, Satan? We shall see. We shall see. But then this chapter also kind of gave me an answer. And the little piece of paper that I picked to stick in here, I'll read it after I read you the chapter, because it's a double entendre, and it's so funny. I busted out laughing. So first, let's read the chapter though. For those of you who have the book, it's page 23, at least in my book. I know some books are numbered differently. Could be, could very well be. The Mortgage Meltdown. Cast thy burden upon the Lord, Psalm 55. So here's the story she shares. Again, I love that Tosha uses stories to convey things to us because that's a great way. Storytelling is a great way for people to soak stuff up. My friend Lori rents an apartment in San Francisco and also owned a whole house in Northern California. As the economy began to spiral last fall, she started emailing me frantically about selling her house. Do we think frantic is going to work well? Good morning, Tracy. Glad you are here. She took the same desperate approach to her finances that many people do. Every day she figured her chances of selling got worse as the recession deepened. As she saw the value of her investment decline, she descended into increasing panic. Again, is this a great formula for success? Each time she checked the numbers on Zillow, she needed a Xanax. I suggested she not imbibe the general fear and scarcity of the culture and keep her energy anchored in the divine as her source and focus on abundance. Abundance, 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 right? If she did, her place would sell if it was meant to, regardless of the current market. In other words, we only need one buyer. Doesn't matter how many people aren't moving around, we only need one buyer. That divine right person who's meant for this particular place. So here are the steps. 1, release a personal focus. Stop fixating on how much you will win or lose. Instead, invoke a situation where you and a buyer can both win. Isn't that interesting? Excuse me, where you and the buyer can both win. Imagine the house as a resource you have to offer for the good of all. Would you love this home? It's no longer mine. I borrowed it from the Lord for a while, and now it's up for sale. Would you like it? Someone says no, move on to the next person. Would you like it? You get the drift. Okay. Step 2, call in divine order. Affirm that the perfect new owner is already selected and will arrive easily. And then you can do that yin marketing thing of connecting in your mind to that divine right person who's meant to come to your asset, whatever it is. Okay? Yes, exactly. Exactly. Imagine what it is that you want for an outcome. Live as if it's already occurred. Live as if it's already occurred. Know that you will receive the divinely appointed price from the right person at the right time, imagining someone who will genuinely benefit. So let me go back to that yin marketing thing because I've found that to be a tremendously helpful concept. And it can be yin and yang of anything. But in this case, it was one of my old mentors, Shelley, who was teaching about yin and yang marketing and marketing our businesses, our small businesses. The yang marketing is what we know as marketing. It's how many dials do you do? How many people do you reach on social media? How many things did you mail out? How many contacts did you have? All that stuff that we're all familiar with, right? The yin marketing, that divine feminine part of the marketing, is connecting. I know you're out there. I'm creating, I always call it a tractor beam. You call it whatever you like. A divine connection between myself and the perfect person who's meant to come to this house. If that's what I'm selling is a house. If you're selling a car, if you're looking for someone to fill a job that you have available, I'm tuning into that divine right person. I'm sensing your energy out there. I know you will come to me in divine right timing and divine right order. I'm so happy and grateful to receive you. Can you feel the different energy there? Good morning, Bonnie. Glad you're here. Thank you for the sunrise. Very nice. And that's kind of what it looks like when the sun actually comes up underneath all of this junk. It's very pinky orangey. Yeah, because all the particulate in the air is reflecting the light. Some on human design, yes. Interestingly, I was one of those people who was voracious. I especially in my 30s, absorb, take this class, take that class. My one funny story about that was um the board that decides that you get to renew your license insists that you have 40 units of continuing education every 2 years. The space on the document only has room for 40 units. So I fill out my 40 units, I send it in. This is years ago. I might have been in my 30s at this point. And I'm about to leave to go for more units because I loved learning. So I went to a lot of stuff and get a nastygram. The day I'm going to leave for a 7-day event, get a nastygram from that board telling me that they didn't accept some of my units. And if I didn't respond in 5 days, I was no longer licensed. Total flip out, tearing around like a maniac, all the things. And then I realized this pisses me off. There's no reason to be adversarial about this, right? So, and I looked at the form that they sent me, and again, it only had room for the number of units that they wanted me to correct. Well, I didn't think that was appropriate. So I wrote on their little document, see attached, and I put on there the 86 units I had done for the 2 years. And I said, pick out what you like. And you really don't need to be adversarial about this. And I sent it off. Every 2 years thereafter, they audited me. But I felt like I got my 2 cents worth in there. Meh. So yeah, and I did get my license. But yeah, again, it's that mindset that's like, where are you coming from? This is just weird. So we've released our personal focus. We've called in the divine order. Now we're installing the divine as the true owner. After all, where did the house come from in the first place? Did it ever truly belong to Lori? At least give God the credit and mentally return the home to the divine for resolution. Think about that. 500 years from now, is this property that you have a fence around and that you defend with your life gonna still be yours? No. And really it never is. We're sort of like transient folks landing on a particular chunk of land, boxing it off from anybody else, and then turning it over to someone else and someone else and someone else. What if we view this as sequential? This is my time to have this, and then I will hand it back to spirit, and spirit will hand it to someone else, and on we go. Become detached. Here's the one that takes some practice, at least on my part. Become detached. Let go of any grasping for outcome. Let go of any attachments to the place, or it will block resolution. Detachment creates room for creation. If it's hard to detach, pray to be able to let go and receive the highest outcome. That's kind of like my friend Flo's idea of, if I can't energetically love somebody, I'll have my angels talk to their angels and let them send the love. Give it a step of distance so that I can actually get that beginning to happen, right? After Lori and I spoke, well, wait, missed a sentence. Know that one way or another, no matter how things currently look, God is your source and you are safe. After Lori and I spoke, she felt a strong impulse to run a real estate post on Craigslist. Good morning, Beth. Glad you are here. Welcome. Every day she invoked divine order and affirmed that the perfect buyer was already selected. She also decided that if the universe wished her to keep the house, the funds to do so would manifest. That's kind of where I'm at with this project. If I am meant to do this, you need to equip me to do this, including the funds to make it happen. Thank you very much in advance. We'll see what happens. She became totally detached, insisting that either way the divine was in control and she would be fine. 2 months later, she sold the spot without a broker through that one crummy Craigslist online ad to a grateful couple with a new baby for precisely the amount of money she needed. It happens. It happens. So my little sticky note that I stuck in here, this was actually about paying my Medicare premium, but listen to this. Pay, then change source. Meaning I was going to switch to a different checking account out of which the payments were going to come. Pay, then change source. Yeah, source. This isn't mine to to fret about, right? And back to the God jar. If I'm fretting about it, I need to fill out a little slip of paper. I actually just cut. The other day I was putting a couple things in here, cut a whole bunch of new slips of paper. So I'm golden in terms of being able to fill out additional things in my God jar. So if there's something that's bugging you, if there's something that doesn't seem to be moving toward resolution, whether it's a personal thing, whether it's a world thing, whatever it is, write it down on a slip of paper and stick it in your God jar. Your God box. Use an empty Kleenex box. It does not matter. Use a dish, an offering dish, whatever it is. Put it in there. And then every time you think about it, oop, I better worry. No, no, no. It's in the jar, it's in the box, it's in the dish. I don't need to fret about this. It is all good. It is all good. So I need to get ready and get my butt on the road to go see my darling Scarlett. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you are capable of far more than you think you are. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.